Welcome to the Get It Done podcast with Erin, the podcast where I talk to business owners about their business, allowing them to share their business, their journey, their backstory, how they got to where they are today. The prayer for the podcast is that I can just uproot and destroy the spirit of fear. So, the reasoning for the podcast or where the ideas stem from is I get to talk to a lot of different people. Um, and at some point, somehow the conversation leads back to business because I'm just a girl that just likes to talk about business all the time. And most people want to start a business. They have desires to start a business. They have brilliant ideas to start businesses. But what it just boils down to, the reasoning for them not doing it is just they just are scared for whatever reason it is. So my prayer is that someone that is watching the podcast can hear something either from me, from one of the guests, that just gets them up to get to doing the thing, whatever the thing may be. Um, so for the most part, I'm talking to people that I've never met before. Most of the guests, for the exception of probably maybe about 2 to 3 people, I have this is episode 49. Woohoo! But out of the 49 people, majority of them have been complete strangers. I just find it more interesting to talk to strangers and allow them to share and discuss what it is that they're doing, and me ask questions, not basically knowing anything. So the guest is here. I will add her to the stage. Hi,
Hello, how are
how are
you?
you? We did
Yes,
it.
finally. Thank you. I'm so happy to be on here.
I'm so thankful that you are here. How do you pronounce your name?
Sabrae.
Sabrae. Okay, that's cute.
Thank
So
you.
Sabrae, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your business.
Okay, so I am a 13-year industry veteran in the barber industry. I have thank
Congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I own a barber shop.
Nice.
It's 13 of us. No, 12 of us. I'm sorry, 12 of us now. Um, and I just love it. I'm so dedicated to the craft. I love um, training people. The shop has allowed me to train people. I work in the business and on the business. So, yeah, it's been 3 years since I had the shop, and we're going strong. We're fully staffed, and I love it. I've been cutting hair since how was I, 19?
Nice.
Yeah.
And what got you to cutting hair?
So I was getting out of, well, I withdrew myself from art school, and because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my career. And for some reason, thank God, I understood debt at the time. So I said, okay, if I don't know what I want to do, I'm not going to take out a bunch of loans. So let me
Girl, where was
see.
God telling me that? I'm getting my degree.
I mean, it's good if it makes sense, but if you don't know what you want to do, it didn't make that much sense to me. So I said, okay, let me withdraw myself until I figure that out. Then I'm like 19 out here in the work world, and I know how that can get really like redundant, and you could establish a very short ceiling for yourself without further education. So I said, well, until I figure that out, let me get a trade at least. And I said, okay, well, barber school is a lot shorter than hair school, and I knew about the barber school, it wasn't far from where I live. And so I said, well, worst case scenario, um, I have money in my pocket. I can do it on the side. And I started, and I fell in love with it. I realized how competitive it was, how creative I can be. And yeah, I just loved it.
When you said you went to art school first and then we started talking about the barbering, I was like, that's an art in itself to cut someone's hair.
Right? I would
I
never
remember
thought.
I used to want to know how to cut hair, and at some point in my life I was married and he would cut his own hair and he would like let me do like, I don't know, just like little bits and pieces, and he'll try
Mhm.
to show me and I'm like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yes, nerve
But
wracking because it's like if you mess up,
yes, and
like,
that and
yeah.
it was I don't know if it was me actually doing it or him, because he was so like, it was just like, no, I don't want to do it.
It was real tense in that bathroom, huh?
Girl, I heard you say
Yeah.
something about 12 years, did I not? Or
13 now, yeah.
that you've been cutting for 12 years?
I've been licensed no for 13, 13, and
And
I've
then
been
what made you want to like go, or has it always been a dream to have your own shop, or how'd that come about?
So my first shop failed. A lot of people don't know that. I opened a hair salon. I was 21 and I was waiting over my head. I just thought, one and one is two, and two and two
Like
is
I
four.
could
And
do
here we
this.
are. Yeah, like all you have to do is get buy the shop and then rent out the chairs. And it's just gonna all come together. No, it crashed and burned real bad. I thought that I was just able to work at the barbershop that I was working at and then have the salons just like an investment, but I can work there too if I wanted to as a barber because we're kind of licensed to do some like really the same thing. So I said, okay, I could do both, you know, and I didn't know that world. Hair, like being a hairstylist in the hair salon world, is totally different from the barber world. I should have just stuck to what I knew, but I really thank God for that experience because it taught me so much. That's what I feel like that's a huge part of why VIP is what it is today because of the mistakes I made with it was called Grand Allure Unisex Salon.
Yeah.
And yeah, it failed. So I said after that, I would never get a shop again. I did not want my business to depend on other people coming to work. You know,
How long did you have the hair shop?
oh, probably like 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's enough to
yeah.
learn a lesson.
Oh, yeah, very much so, very much so. So yeah, that one failed, and I said I'll never do it again. But when I got a little bit older, and then I realized, okay, you can only cut but so much hair. You need to scale, and in order to do that, you have to multiply yourself. In order to do that, you have to have the space to do it. And here we are. And why start a business in something I know nothing about when I have, at that time, given myself 9, 10 years. I had 9, 10 years of experience in this one field. So I was an expert at barbering. So that was the business I decided to go into. And I thought that was the best decision.
I love that. Once you got out of barber school and passed state board, what'd you do to gain your clientele? Because that's always especially like service based, it's
Yeah.
always the hardest thing for people to maintain.
Oh man. Oh, I could write a book on building clientele.
You
um,
really should, because people, even if it's just like an ebook, because people
yeah.
in this field, like they don't, well, just anytime, anything that I'm an esthetician. So anything
Yeah.
that we have to do to, or how do I say it? Any field where people have to maintain clients, that's what you should focus the book on,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't last long because they get discouraged because they're not filling up their books with the clients.
Yeah. So it takes a while. It took me about, well, first of all, the patience, sticking with it. It took me about, I would say 2.5 years to gain a steady clientele. And after that, I still wasn't like where I am now, but I had enough where my money was consistent. Because in the
It
beginning,
is.
you may make, you may cut, I don't, 3 people's hair one day, then the next day you may cut none, and then the next day you might get one.
Yeah.
But after about 2.5 years is when it became consistent. And at that time, back in like 2011, um, social media wasn't what it was today. So it was so to build clientele, I did a lot of footwork. I utilized all the businesses near the shop that I worked in, passed out cards. Of course, if I'm in the grocery store, if I'm picking up lunch, I'm seeing people in line, I'm handing out my card. If they, you know what I mean? If they just look
It's
like
a
they
numbers
have,
game.
yeah, so I'm just passing out cards. If they look like they need a haircut, if they look like they have children, I'm just talking to people. Of course, at that time, I'm posting on social media. I had a Facebook and Instagram, but it just wasn't what it was today. But I'm posting on there using hashtags. That helped a
Yes.
lot. A lot of people found me on like DMV barbers hashtag and stuff like that.
Nice.
Um,
Where are you located? I'm sorry.
in Bowie, Maryland.
Oh, nice. I used to live
Yep.
in I'm in LA now, but I used to live in Virginia. So it's kind of like next
Oh
door.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. What part?
Hampton.
Hampton.
My
Okay, so a
husband
little ways. Yeah, it's a little ways
it,
away, but yeah.
yeah. When we would do like little weekend getaways, we would come out
Hmm.
there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would search. I mean, I would use those hashtags. A lot of people would try to find services by using the hashtag. I still do to this day if I'm looking for any type of service. I'm like searching, I'm Googling, but I'm also searching the hashtags on Instagram and Facebook. Um, then you have to, once you get those people in the chair, you always have to improve on your skill and find ways to give a consistent job, because they don't want to, when they come back, they want to get the same thing you got last time. So you don't want to have 50 different tools where you're doing a whole bunch of different things. You want to kind of condense it so that you're giving the same quality job every time. Your customer service, talking to people. My mentor at the time told me, pick up a newspaper, find out what's going on in the world so you can have a conversation, things like that. Being consistent. I was the first one there and the last one out when I was
Nice.
building clientele. So, there was no, oh, I'm just strolling in at 10 a.m. No, I was there at 8 and I left
Nice.
at 8. So it's like you said, a numbers game. You have to be available for
Whatever
clients
walks in
to
the
come in.
door.
Whoever walks in the
I love
door.
that. So how is it being because usually a barber is just it's a male based field. So how is that what has been the experience of being a woman barber? Or
Well,
if
mm,
it has been.
oh, it is, especially. So there are, how can I say, there are a lot of women in the industry. Of course, it's still male dominated, but there's even less feminine female barbers in the industry.
Yes.
Um, the only challenge I had, I would say, in the beginning when I was, just young and green and stuff like that, I would just really get every now and then. It wasn't all the time, but guys would definitely come in and they're like, "Hey, how you doing? You need some help?" And the guys are like,
Like I
"You
work
cut
here.
hair?" Yeah, like they're like, you." They're like, some guys would be like, "You cut my son's hair, but I don't know about that." So, but that's why I had a lot of kid clients because of that. So I would just really do a great job on their son. And then they would start coming to me because of the great job that I did on their kid. But discriminate, a little bit of discrimination like that. And I didn't take it the wrong way, because if I went walk into a hair salon and there's just a straight male presenting guy who's just like, "How you doing, man? Would you like your hair done?"
Yes.
I would
No,
definitely be
thank you,
like,
sir.
do you really know how to do a nice little. So I never took it personally. It just gave me even more of that to really knock whatever I get in the chair, because they're watching. Whatever I get in this chair, whether it's an old man or a kid, whoever allows me, I'm gonna really do my best.
Nice.
And then when it comes, oh, it was an adjustment also, working with men, like the coworkers, just because even as a shop owner, as a feminine woman, you're a guest in their house, in a man's house, when you're working in a barber shop, when you're going to enter into the barber shop. That just is what it is. And that's okay. That's the only thing, especially black men, that's the only place they have where they can go and be themselves and speak freely and joke around and stuff like that. Everywhere else, they have to kind of like be aware of their surroundings and alter their speech and things like that. So it was an adjustment, like hearing some stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm cutting hair like, oh. But what I've understood is, if you maintain your authenticity as a person, you're not trying to pretend to be anything that you're not. Um, you just, whether you're feminine or masculine, presenting woman or whatever, just be who you are. Be comfortable in your skin. Be respectful. You know what I mean, to them, and you really won't run into any issues. Don't date them. It's really simple
Yes.
things like that will complicate, your work environment as well. But yeah, as long as you keep it professional and be yourself, it's fine. Yeah.
I love the energy of the barbershop. My dad and all his friends have been hanging out for since I was a little girl. So when they get together, it's just the whole barbershop vibe is what it is in the backyard when they're all
Yes.
together. But
Yeah.
when I'm in a barbershop, it just reminds me of that. Like men are just hilarious.
Yes. Where else can they speak freely and just be themselves for real?
Yeah,
Like,
when they're together, that's everything.
yep.
Um, so it has there ever been a time, I know it's been, you said 3 years, has there ever been a time where you were just like, this is very, very hard and I don't know what to do. Like, what am I going to do? And how do I do it?
About 2 years ago, December. Oh, that was the toughest time in my career ever. I only had a year under my belt, like almost, not even quite. And I wanted to change up some of the things, our services and how we offer them. Mind you, I did not have a full staff at that time, and some of the most, how do I say, some of the most consistent paying like blueprint paying barbers, they had issues with some of the policies that I was changing. For example, I wanted to be the only barbershop who offers shampoos a standard part of our services. Not many barbershops do that.
I've never
And
heard of it. Like for the guys?
for them, yeah. So
Yeah, I've never heard.
each
That's a really
barber,
good
so
idea, though.
yeah, before we cut your hair, we clean your hair. Unless some guys have big froze and stuff like that. We don't have all the time in the world. Like, we're not gonna be a blowout. So, but most guys who have like wavelength hair, or it's not too long, we'll shampoo your hair and then you know um service you. And I got that whole concept from iCut Pro. Shout out to Todd in New York. He did a class at my shop at VIP, and he was explaining the importance of it. I adopted it, and I said, "Okay, team, this is what we're gonna do." Mind you, like, I'm just like, some of these barbers are older than me, more experienced than I am. I probably only trained like two or three at a time. So of course the people I trained, they're with it. They're like, whatever you say. But I have half of the shop that's just like, I ain't washing no man's hair, like they're giving me like, or like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I wanted to increase the prices to match the level
The
quality of
experience.
services.
Yeah.
Yes. And because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, barbers are still people in our field, in this beauty barber world, they are afraid to raise their prices, and it's so unfortunate because we have to pay bills just like everyone else, and can be a real career, you know um but they were afraid, and I had to like kind of like keep my staff and not have anybody quit, because it's a barbershop on every corner, and I had to convince them to believe in the vision, and that was the toughest thing, because I really thought people were going to leave. That's how it was. People were calling around saying stuff, and I was hearing stuff was getting back to me. I was like, oh my gosh. But I knew, I just believed so strongly in what I wanted to do, with the shop, and that was tough.
How'd you get him
And
to do it? What happened? Like,
I kind of, I kind of just had to, we had meeting after meeting, and I would explain to them, like, this is why we're raising the prices. This is why we're offering the service. We have to match the prices with the level of service. So when people leave, they feel like, oh, um, I didn't get got, like, this was worth it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you can afford to take your time and give like a top tier level service. So I really had to explain this to them. I had to kind of like give them pep talks all the time, and pray. I had to trust God that the vision that I had, that He gave me, was gonna actually work. And like I said, at the time,
I'm
I still
sorry.
was
Are you a
probably,
Christian?
I am.
So, not anything like that, but it's so crazy. So, just not to cut you off, I'm so
No, it's
sorry, but I'm
okay.
just
No, no, no.
blown away by this. Okay, so, this is episode 49.
Hmm.
Probably about episode 40. I don't know. At some point, I was like, Lord, where are the kingdom business owners at? Because I'm talking to, like, all these different people that aren't believers, and I'm like, where
Hmm.
are they at? Like, so after I had this conversation with God, so you're the fifth person, and I had a podcast earlier today. My last I had, I don't know. But anyway, you're the fifth person since that prayer to God that has
Wow.
been. I'm just like, wait, what? Like, okay, I'm sorry. Go
Wow.
ahead.
No, that's
Earlier, the
awesome.
woman, when she was talking, and like once I realized that she was Christian, like I'm like holding back tears. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta speak
but
that.
it's just crazy. But sorry about that. What were
Yeah.
you saying?
No, I totally love that, by the way. But just totally, just trusting God that the vision He gave me was going to work out. And at that time, like I still was coming out of pocket, covering expenses and stuff like that. My business wasn't profitable at that time. So it was a risk, you know. Um, I had people calling me saying, this is, I don't know, this is not going to work. The people in that community, they're not going to like all that, and they just want to get a haircut and leave. But I knew, like, in Prince George's County, uh, Maryland, a lot of the residents here, we have to go leave the county to get top
Nice
quality
things.
services. Yeah, like fine dining, good shopping, good, oh, like, above average experience. Even the Starbucks in other counties are better. Like it's that bad. So it's like I wanted to establish something in within our county that was just next level, and I just could not do it. But I definitely left lost sleep, in that
Trying to
process,
figure
and that
it
was
out.
really really tough. But I prayed about it. I called mentors that I have, people that I look up to, people who've been um even, and that was another discouraging thing. I would call people who've been in the industry longer than I have, owning longer than I have, and they were like, "Whew, I don't know."
Like that's
They were
not
like, "Good luck,"
well.
but they
It
end up they
sounds
end up
like it's a.
copying.
It
They
sounds
Yeah.
like if someone were to tell me that, it sounds like it would be a great thing because, well, one, I've never ever known barbers to wash hair, and a lot of times the men aren't washing their hair like that. Like,
They're not.
so it's like you would want the hair to be clean just to for safety
Oh,
reasons.
that too. That
Yeah,
too. Yeah, but it's just something, people have been doing it for 20, 30 years in a certain
yeah,
way. And yeah. So just kind of convincing people twice my age that not maybe not twice, but maybe close. But yeah, that hey, this is what we're gonna do, and just trust me, we're gonna win. We're gonna be okay.
nice.
And we were able to get there. It was a
How
little
long did
bit
it
tough in the
take?
beginning for everyone to adopt it. Well, I made it mandatory, so it was kind of like if you either you with it or you're not. I had to kind of like draw that line in the sand and stick with it, and that was tough. But it took about, I'd say about 3-4 months for everybody to be comfortable with it.
To jump on with it, yeah, and
And
especially with men, when men are like when they're sold on something, they're kind of like stuck in their ways.
yes, very much so. So it took about 3-4 months to get everybody like on board fully, and they can understand. So their tips were increasing. People had no problem with the price. We had some people, that were like, "Oh, this is just too much. I don't need all that." But I said, Neiman Marcus is not marketing to Walmart customers, and they're doing
Yes,
just fine. More people go to Walmart, but that's okay. I said you can cut less people if you're charging a certain amount and offering a certain level of service, and that way you won't burn out, that way
yep,
you have more of a work-life balance. And yeah, you're just not doing volume. You can take your time, you can afford to take your time and
yeah.
make each customer happy. So they bought into it, thankfully. And yeah, and a lot of people who doubted me end up copying the same concept.
You did it. Now everybody else
Right.
doing it.
Right,
That
yeah.
is, I love that. So
Mhm.
and I started this year one because I knew that my thing was I want a raise every year. So every August I increase my prices. And I
That's
talk to
awesome.
so many business owners that are scared to increase their prices. And
Yeah.
what I've learned is you will get people that fall off, but you'll also get new clients that's willing to pay the price for whatever it is. And
Yeah.
with that year, you increase in experience,
Yes. Yep.
which increases the service,
Your value.
which increases the, I don't know how to phrase it, but the basically the idea of the clientele, the base of the
Hmm.
clientele. So it just changes and you just have to be okay with that flow. Um but yeah, I did that very early on. So like when I talk to people about price increase, I'm like, girl, I raise my prices every August. Like
That's awesome.
every
That's a good
message
idea.
that, yeah, every message that a new client gets, it's written somewhere in that message that prices increase August. So
Yeah.
I love that. So far, what are you most proud of with your business?
the people that I've trained and where how far they've come. That's
Nice.
become a hidden passion of mine. I never knew that, but when you own a shop, you are gonna get approached by people who are rookies, who are just fresh out of school, and they need on the field training. What they learn in school is like super basic.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm just being frank, they're trash. Like when they come out, like as far
Yep.
as compared to people who have been working professionally for a while. So training them from fresh out of school to
Babies.
yes, to building a clientele and having a steady clientele and boosting their income and just changing their lives in that way. It's been the proudest thing for me in the business, and it makes me want to open a school one day.
Nice. You got this.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for today?
Today, hmm, I would say my staff. I have
Nice.
such a strong staff. Um, Everybody pitches in, helps out. Everybody has excellent customer service. I finally got it where everybody is good at what they do and how they do it. And a total team players. Sometimes it's always, you know how it is. Like you have a staff of people, it's always one or two, whatever. That's kind of,
A
you
bad
know,
apples.
yeah, you got to work with them extra. But no, everybody is on point. I would say I'm probably most grateful for the staff. Without them, I wouldn't be able to service all those people by myself.
Yeah,
So without them, there's no VIP.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, I watched it. I'm gonna send it to you because it was very. I watched it maybe about a year ago, but it's a guy that I'll just send it to you. But it was a very inspiring. The guy's a barber, or I don't know. I think he did hair, and
Okay.
he owned a shop, and he basically restructured how the how the booth rent goes. Instead of him
Mhm.
charging booth rent, I'm gonna try to say it as fast as I can, but instead of him charging booth rent, he did it to where they pay or they get paid a percentage of
Commission.
it, something like that, but it was in a different structure. I can't remember it, but it was very
Hmm.
inspiring. His whole story though, but I'll send you the
Mhm.
link
Yeah, please do.
later this evening. Can you share any advice that you would have for someone that has a desire to have their own barbershop?
Yes. One, be a barber. um, Unless you are investing in a barber, you need someone running the shop who does that work, in
Understands.
my opinion. I
Mhm.
think I think that's where the success comes from. It's hard to establish certain rules and have people trust you if you don't have to necessarily be working with them all, because I know people who own multiple locations and stuff, but when you understand the business from their point of view and have done that, um, that helps a lot, you
Yeah,
know. Um, and the most advice, it's managing staff. Learn how to manage your staff. You have to read books on how to understand people. Laws of Human Nature is a good one. The Bible's another.
great one.
A great, yeah, understanding people. You have to be able to get outside of yourself and get into the mind of someone else, at least to understand,
I
to
love that.
understand and where they're coming from, because it's really about, that's been the biggest thing. You can read books on how to do the paperwork and stuff like that, but you can also hire someone. But that managing the staff is everything.
Everything, I would imagine. Um,
Yeah.
is there a great vision for the barbershop or for the business?
So I definitely would love to expand and open up a couple other locations, but it just has to be the right one. I just don't want to open it up on anywhere, because, like I said, there barbershops are everywhere. It has to be a right location and a good need for it, and definitely a school, and definitely a barbershop. Working in the field has taught me about the needs of the clients and products. So I will be coming out with more products that help the not only the clients but the industry as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna write your book about
Building clientele.
yes, your ebook on
Yeah, I
building
have to.
clientele.
I have to. You gave me that. You gave me that. I have to do that.
Yes. And it will be an easy sell. I was just talking to another business owner. She texted me, and she was like, well, when are you gonna start your class on podcasting? I'm like, girl, I'm just now starting. What class? I was like,
You want to
because
do
she
it.
also, in addition to her business, she works in customer service. I'm like, girl, you need to be teaching customer service. I was like, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these businesses, I was like, if you pay attention to where you going, I was like, because she didn't understand like what I was saying. And I'm like, just start paying attention to the service from here on out, wherever you go. Like customer service is not, it's rare like when you can
Yeah.
get good customer service. So, and I was like, you would like really do good in that. And she's like, okay, well, keep giving me ideas. I'm like, girl, that was the idea.
Sometimes that's what we need. But yeah, that was the idea. But we do need that because sometimes we're so tunnel vision on
Hmm.
our own business that something so simple like you should do an ebook on that. That's like, oh, that's a passive income
And once
that
you
you don't have
write it,
to
you don't have to
do this.
write it. It's
There you
you could
go.
sell that 20 years from now.
There you go.
Yep. So I'm gonna stay on her head. I'm gonna send her another text message. I'm gonna just like start. I always have ideas. So the next idea that pop up, I'm gonna just text her like, you could do this, you could do
Hmm.
this. I'm gonna just start sending it to her. Is
So
there
we all need
anything,
friends like that.
girl? My friends are that way. Is there anything that you would say that scares you in business?
Hmm. No.
No, me neither.
No. You got, I mean, business is for the risk takers. Calculated risk, but still risk.
Yeah,
So no, I'm not afraid. I feel like when you overcome enough, obstacles in business, you feel like, okay, there's nothing you
I'm
can't.
here now. Yep.
Yeah, it's nothing you can't because you use those same tools in the same mindset that got you through those things, and you're like, okay, I could duplicate that process. And
Yeah.
then I have faith that it's gonna work out. I have a good family support system. Like I got some good relationships because I have integrity in business. So I've got
Number
some good
one or
relationships.
number two.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, I don't fear anything. I do right by people, so I expect good things to come.
I love that. Is there anything that people think about you, but that is just not true?
One, there was there,
What?
there's in this industry, there's so many women that if you're a woman in this industry, a lot of times you are of the
Yeah.
alternative community,
Yeah.
alternative lifestyle. And so I heard that. I was like, what? But that's probably the only thing because it's just a stereotype.
They
Like it's
just
just like,
assume.
yeah, and then you would go out with your coworkers or whatever, and if they are girls, they are like this. So 9 times out of 10, so that and then they just all lump you in. But other than that, or that someone bought the business for me because it had to be someone else. Like it couldn't just be me. Like
You're
you
right.
know what I mean? Like they're like her dude must have bought her that shop. You know what I mean? It was just like rumors like that. And I was just like,
Like,
I
no,
don't,
I
I
work
wasn't
for
even
it.
mad. I wasn't even mad at that because I'm like, okay, if they think that I'm up here to the point where a guy would just buy me a shop, like that's what my stock. At the time I was single, so I was like, that's what my stock way up.
For
But
real.
yeah, no, I'm about to be married now, so that's nice.
Congratulations.
Thank
How
you
is
very
that?
much.
How is I don't know how far you guys are into it, but how is juggling wifely duties and running a business?
Oh, Um, it's rough in the beginning. Finding that work life balance. I couldn't imagine doing that then. Well, I don't know, because my soon to be husband is super supportive, so he will understand. And he's a business owner too, so he will understand if I have less time in those beginning time. But now, owning the business has afforded me some flexibility that I need to do wifely and motherly duties and stuff like that. So I don't have to work as hard behind the chair because I'm also getting an income from owning the shop. So that I now always that I think that's probably going to be my goal at some point like my calling in life at some point is just to encourage women to become entrepreneurs young. So
Yes.
by the time they get, if they want to have a family, by the time they have children and a husband or whatever, or a husband and children, um, they
They're
don't, they
established.
can, yeah, they're established in their business, so they can have the flexibility. A lot of women work nowadays, obviously. So, but if you have to work 8 hours, then commute for maybe 2 hours, you come home, how are you going to have time for your children? How are you going to have time
You're
to cook?
drained.
How are you going to have time for your man? How are you going to
For
have time for
real.
yourself? Like, yeah, I don't have to work as many hours. So I can come home and be at all the after school activities. I would still like to have more time, a little bit more time on working on that. That's where the products come in. But I do
In
very
the books.
well in the book. There you go. The passive income. So where I don't have to be there, because I still, like I said, I'm working in the business. So, but yeah, I would just encourage women to start like how I did at 19 and now 31, 32. You can kind of fall back a little bit. You know what I mean? A little bit where you can afford to do that and be there for your family. That's the most important thing. Because when you die, people are going to find another barber, another esthetician. They're going to come to your funeral with a haircut or their
That somebody
eyebrows
else
done.
did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So don't live your life for your just for your clients. You live your life for your family and
Yep.
God. But you know what I mean? Like you prioritize family over everything. But you can't, it's hard to make those sacrifices for your business early on when you already have a family. Because
Yeah.
you
And
really
when
have
you
to,
don't
like,
have the money to
yeah,
sustain, so you're really working to bring in money and
exactly.
build.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't imagine. I have never done that. I couldn't imagine. I'm sure it can be done, but I couldn't imagine starting working from 8 to 8 and having a family. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah. I talk to moms all the time, and I don't have kids. I'm not married, but I'm always amazed at the women that are able to focus on one, being a wife, focus on
Hmm.
maintaining the relationship with their children, focus on their self-care and
Hmm.
maintaining themselves, and then
Oh,
going to
yeah.
run a full-blown business. Like
Oh, yes.
I can't imagine that. Like
The timing that it happened in my life couldn't have been better. And my soon-to-be husband, he's the one who encouraged me to. He was like, "Take off on Saturdays. Why are you juggling soccer games and da, da, da? Just take off. Like, just make that your day off." And I was like, and before he said that, I
a
could not
day
even think.
off.
Right. I'm like, no, I mean, I had a days off, but you think in our business, barber, Saturday is one of the busiest
Weekends.
days, and he's just like, I got you. Just do that though. Like, just, and it made so much sense. Once you've been established, you can kind of like curate your schedule to a point where you're still hitting your mark, but you have to have that balance. You have to. And it
That's
wasn't
my
always
favorite
like
thing
that.
about being in business. The
Yeah.
flexibility that I have to
Yes.
maneuver and move around and do all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
Hands down, one of my favorites.
Yeah. And your family helps you in business. A lot of times people, kind of sacrifice their families, in order to succeed in business, but your family is the people who are going to be there when it's all said
All the
and done.
time. Yep,
Yeah.
I agree. Um, is there anyone still living that you can say that has um I don't know, helped you out so much in to getting you to where you are today?
Yeah. Um, the owner of the shop that I first worked in, his name is Andrew. He really put me on the map as far as mindset. I give him a lot of credit because, of course, I moved on from that shop and did a couple of other, worked at a couple of other locations and stuff like that. Because I just felt like, once I grew all I can grow there, then I moved on. But he helped me establish that mindset and gave me some really good tools. Like, for example, I would see barbers start strolling in whenever they wanted. You're not controlled, so you don't have to clock in. So they stroll in 10, 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock. How it depends on how that night was, whatever. And I was just like, oh, I'm a barber. I can do that. And he said, before you worked here, didn't you have a job? I said, yeah. And he said, could you go in there whenever you wanted? I said, well, no. I had a window, but no. He was like, so why would you work harder for someone else than you would for yourself?
Yep.
Stuff like that, life telling me to get life insurance and retirement and things like that. Like I would
All
say,
this stuff.
yes, really establishing yourself on to the IRS, stuff like that. Like he really helped me understand these values early on. So I would probably I give a lot of credit to him and a lot, and I've had other people along the way for sure. But I don't take up time on your show, on your podcast saying
What time is
everybody,
it
but
there?
yeah, okay.
What time is it there? Nine,
Oh,
10,
it is
3 hours or two?
almost 11. It's
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's
three.
almost 11. Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow, not tonight.
Hmm.
Sean, Andrew? What did you say his name was?
Andrew.
Andrew. Tomorrow, call Andrew and
Yeah.
let him know that you did a podcast last night. And the girl told you to call him and let him know how much you appreciate him, why you
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
him, and all the things. Give Andrew his flowers.
Oh, we check in like probably like 2-3 times a month.
He
We
needs to
check
hear it
in, yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay. All right, cool.
Don't forget.
Okay, I won't. I won't. Yeah.
Is there anything that we have not covered that you would like to share, to talk about, questions?
Um, let's see. I would say I would be irresponsible I have if I did not plug my product that's coming
Yeah.
out, and it's a sanitary neck duster. It's disposable, totally disposable. I have a patent pending on it,
What's a neck
and
duster?
so in the barbershop, you're cutting hair, and then the hair gets on the client's face, and then you use something like this like a duster to get it off.
Oh, the little, okay.
Reusable, but you use this on the next person and on the next person, and it's brushed. It's like, like just a bunch of bristles, so you can never. It's never fully cleaned.
All right.
But I have a product coming out, and it's totally disposable. It's one use, and not only barbers can use it, but
Oh,
nail
that's
techs. Yeah, with when they're doing the acrylic and stuff, and they're dusting all that. Yeah, nail techs can use it, and yeah, and it's totally sanitary, and we have been working foul for the last however umpteen years, but we just didn't have
nice.
any other option, and now we do.
I love that. When
Yeah.
does it release? Do you have a release date or?
Not an actual date, but definitely by September, August, September.
It's coming. Do you have a name for it?
It that I have to wait
You're
on.
working on it. It's coming, girl. It's okay.
A lot of ones that I wanted were taken, so yeah. And I don't want to make it sound like something like a
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner or something. Like, yeah.
Well,
But
I
yeah.
love that. I love everything you're doing. I'm super
Thank you.
excited about all your products. I'm super excited about the growth of your business. I am super excited about your books.
Thank you.
They
Thank you
are
so much.
coming. And I pray that God continues to bless you just as he has
Thank you.
b-
Thank you.
tenfold. So
Yes.
you have a very good night.
You
Don't
too.
forget to call Andrew tomorrow.
I won't. Thank you for
And
that.
thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining.
Likewise. Have a good evening.
Thank you too.
All right. Bye bye.
Episode 49. Like I can't believe I'm almost at episode 50, which is just crazy to me. Time is flying. I think I started this podcast maybe 2 months ago. And I'm still inspired, still super excited about all the people that I'm talking to, hearing all the stories. I love, love, love the idea of having an idea in your mind, and then before you know it, the idea is alive. So I'm super excited about all the things that she has coming. Super grateful for the experience or the time that she took to share her story. Don't forget to thank God for your blessings. Don't forget to say your prayers. Don't forget to take care of your crusty skin. Again, this episode is sponsored by Matilda's Corner. Whatever platform you are on, I would ask that you subscribe, that you will follow, that you would share, that you would leave a message, that you would do all of the things, whatever platform you're watching on. Um, do that. Follow, subscribe, do all this stuff. Um, I will be, oh, Sunday, I am releasing episode 2 of my Girl Talk podcast. So I have Girl Talk Sunday with Erin, and I'm releasing episode 2 this Sunday. And I'm not releasing it, I'm recording it. Sunday at 11 a.m. Super excited about that. So Sunday's episode is geared towards self-care. So I will see you guys. You will hear from me on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Bye.